joining me all the way from Zagreb, Croatia, is my man Tomislav from the band Elusive God, a doom metal band out of Zagreb. And he was so supportive of the podcast. He asked to come on board, and I'm more than welcome to have him on. Thanks again for rescheduling with me as I travel everywhere and all that shit. So I really appreciate your patience, Tom.
No, no worries, and thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to being a part of the podcast.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got set up pretty nicely over there. I see you have a little Marshall half stack and some axes, some guitars right next to you.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually my living room, so I have the luxury of having half stack in my living room. There are some guitars, and I play it regularly. I'm not too loud because I don't want to piss off neighbors, but it's a good thing to have, I
Right.
gotta say. It's always with me and I could play it, whenever I want.
So tell me what it's like growing up in your area of the world, man.
So, okay, first of all, I grew up in Koprivnica. I was not born in Zagreb. So Koprivnica, this is a town like 100 kilometers from Zagreb. What was it like growing up? It was okay, actually, pretty much standard, I would say, childhood for this area. I was lucky because where I lived in Koprivnica, we were not affected by war in the 90s, so we were like more or less careless.
Mhm.
But it was okay. We had decent exposure to everything. We had music was all around. I started playing guitar pretty early on. So I would say, pretty good. It was okay. Not actually not okay. It's an understanding. It was really great growing up in Koprivnica. Then I on college and I moved to Zagreb and stayed here basically.
So what was your area of
Zagreb.
study whenever you went to college?
I went to Faculty of Chemical Engineering.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this is my basic profession, but a few years ago I started studying psychotherapy. So I'm kind of switching gears.
Yeah,
So I'm a
that's
mhm.
that is quite the change in professions.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I mean, yeah, I just like it. I have to do it. So yeah, it will take me few more years before I become certified therapist, but it's worth it, and I like it.
Yeah, I mean that says a lot about you. I mean, it sounds like if if anyone is out there who would around you that you could help on an emotional
Hmm.
psychiatric level, I mean, why not? I mean, that's very telling of your personality, and not many people, um it's a major it's a career path that you know some people start it but they don't end up finishing or whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
but it just says that you're focused on, like, you're people minded and would like to help out with whatever they have troubles with, so good on you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, yeah, it is basically this is like a profession that you help people out, but on a side note, while you are, in school and preparing yourself to be a certified therapist, you do a lot of self work. It's like a journey. You have to really be comfortable with yourself. Be as authentic as possible.
Mhm.
So in order to be fully aware what's going on with people and to be able to contain it. And I like it so far. It's been I started in 2000, so I'm in my fourth year of studies, but it's a long path, man. So it will take at least another 3 or 4 years because normally I'm I'm completely switching gears. So when you're coming from chemical engineering, you have some additional steps. If I actually studied psychology, initially it would take me a little bit shorter, but what the fuck? I don't care. I'm going for it.
Yeah, yeah, keep going for it, man, and I wish you all the
Thanks.
all the best in that endeavor,
Mm,
because like I said, you coming from a chemical engineer standpoint and
Mhm.
into that arena of uh of psychology and psychiatry, I believe. That
Psychotherapy,
psychotherapy,
psychotherapy.
it's no easy
Mhm.
feat. It's no easy feat in its own right. And I'm just, I guess I'm really curious now, why that change? Why go into psychotherapy coming from a chemical engineering, just doing that?
Uh, there's like this concept of path of least resistance, and people often misunderstand it. It's something, it goes like you choose the easier way in life. But if you ask me, it was easier to choose to go this path than not going to, if you get my drift. So I kind of wanted to do it. So I discovered, I was okay with chemical engineering, and I had, and still have good engineering career, but something was missing. And when few years ago, actually, it was during COVID, maybe even before, I started, thinking about, okay, is this something that I want to do my entire life? And I was started going on my own psychotherapy, and then I discovered, yeah, maybe I should go for it. My therapist encouraged me, actually, why don't you try? She probably saw some qualities or something in me, because I didn't think about it and that in that time. So uh, I waited before enrolling, because I didn't want it to be impulsive. And then I started with no expectations, because it's expensive, and it's long lasting, let's say, investment. And I said, okay, let's try it. If I wouldn't like it, I will just stop.
Right.
But I actually liked it, and then here I am, almost in the half of my studies. I wanted to do, I simply wanted to do it, because I had some personal situations. I started, just something completely switched with me. I started to think differently, and wasn't so happy with the engineering stuff I was doing, because I had some uh, good experience prior to that. So I traveled a lot. Also, I worked with some really cool people. But I kind of felt the urge. I knew I needed to do it, and then I had the encouragement of my people around me and my therapist. And I was like, yeah, let's go for it. I wanted to, because I like this concept. So right now I am 37 years old. I mean, when I started, how old was I? 33. So basically, I was working after college for only 10 years. And then this thought, okay, I thought I spent 5 years in engineering studies, and I was working 10 years. And I was like, okay, I don't want to be the, because in Croatia, when you go to college, you are 19 years old.
Right.
So basically, what you decide to, which college you decide on when you are 19, it stucks with you your whole life.
Hmm.
And you're a completely different person with 30 years, 30, 35 plus, than you were with 19. So I kind of felt, okay, I should give it a go, because it's not that I don't like engineering stuff. I just felt, okay, I should try something else and see if I can have a career in something else, because I felt strong urge, to enroll in it, and to help people, and just to be a part of it.
Yeah. Sound like you had a very, like this spiritual pull into,
Mhm.
into a profession that, not only help others, but help yourself in the process.
The thing was, when I started going to, you know, my own therapy, I was always curious about, okay, I felt really good, after sessions. And then it was really, liberating feeling. I felt really good. And then I started thinking, okay, but what's in it for the therapist? I think the therapists are also feeling really good while helping somebody.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started asking questions. So how is it like to be a therapist? And then I started, okay, if I can help somebody the way my therapist helped me, I mean, why not? And that was the major decision. But also, I have to say, not always, but when you are into metal music and you read a lot of lyrics, a lot of stuff, I was always kind of drawn to I was always really introspective, and I was always curious about unconscious and psychological processes, and I was always reading about it on the side. And then I just felt, okay, let's do it. Let's be serious about it. Let's try it and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? I mean,
Mhm.
like most people say, you only, have one life to live. You only live once and all that good
Yeah,
shit. So why not make the most of your time while you're here and,
exactly.
not only help yourself, but help others as well. And fully understand, the, all the different nuances and systems that, our consciousness goes through, I suppose, in the process of learning more about yourself and how the mind works. That's very admirable, Tom. And you know,
Thanks.
because I actually worked for a substance abuse treatment center
Okay.
while pursuing my own undergrad. And me being in recovery, I mean, I actually thought about going into the field of substance abuse counseling myself at one point, but
Hmm.
just never went completely headfirst into it. So I definitely you have my support in everything you do on the psychotherapy end, and
Thank you.
I would definitely venture that that all of that we discussed about psychotherapy and learning about that on your own has to play a huge part in the music of Elusive God as well.
Yes, yes, actually, yeah, you are right about. I mean, it's not directly connected, but as I said, I was always really introspective, and mm, mm, majority of the stuff I sing about, whether it's Elusive God or my previous bands, it's always really personal. I cannot sing about something that is not happening to me or that's not a part of my, let's say, inner processes. So yeah, but like psychotherapy, when you're making this huge decision in your life, you start being maybe even more courageous when it comes to your music. You're just like, you have this, let's say, special sort of energy. You're like, if okay, go for it in psychotherapy, but let's apply it also while making music. Let's maybe make some decisions musically that you wouldn't do before.
And traditionally, I mean, have you always played like some heavy doom music that you showed me, or was it things? Tell me how your career as a musician developed, if you don't mind.
Okay, so let's start with I let's start 2001. That's when I got electric guitar. Yeah, so just a second, I have to. Okay, I started playing electric guitar 2001, and I think I was in a band in 2002. The band was called Stench, and it was like, we called this music crustcore. It was basically a crust punk band, let's say. And yeah, we recorded an album, and it was released on the cassette. So I had, with almost 14 or 15 years old, I already had the experience of recording in studio.
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah, it was a nice experience, but it didn't work out for me because I didn't get along with the guys. And then I made the band Flamethrower, which was heavy metal band. And we started, and also in Stench I played guitar, and then when we started Flamethrower, I was only a guitarist back then. And we started with playing heavy metal covers in 2004. And yeah, we were basically playing everywhere in our area, and people were responding really cool about it. Because this was completely different time. It was pre-YouTube and it was in the period where there were no so much gigs in Croatia. So for a lot of people, we were actually, they could hear, let's say, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Metallica covers, or only by listening to us. So it was really wild. The shows were made back then were poorly organized, but it was a lot of people every time. So when you say from this perspective, we played sometimes, in some village, and 400, 500 people showed up. It was insane. And then we started making our own music in 2006, because we knew, okay, we can't make covers for the rest of our lives. We enjoyed playing Merciful Fate, Metallica, except, all the good heavy metal stuff. But eventually, I had some ideas. I wanted to make our own music. And then we started with our own songs, and then it didn't work out with our singer, and then I took over the vocal duties. I didn't sing before that, and kind of, I was making demos at my home, just, so the vocalist could know how the songs should sound like. And then we even started recording our demo. Yeah, back then it was called demo. Right now, if we recorded it, it would be called an album straight away.
Right.
But okay, during the recording, it didn't work out. So we were recording, it was Flamethrower, The Birth of Flame, our first album or demo, whatever you call it. And then during the recording, it didn't work out. We changed vocalists, and then I started singing. And then we were a four-piece. So I started playing guitar and singing. And it was 2006, 2007. Yeah, that's basically how I started singing. It wasn't my intention to start singing, but here we are now.
Yeah.
And then Flamethrower also released another album, A Treason or the Truth, and then one more album when we were only trio, because it didn't work out with the second guitarists. And then we recorded our final album in 2012, A Keeper of Remembrance. And it's important to mention that Tim Amar from Control Denied was a guest vocalist on one of the songs on this. Thrower existed. I was playing guitar in Croatian heavy metal band Soundbringer. So yeah, it was from 2007. So from, let's say, 2007 up until 2012, I was in two heavy metal bands. And then Flamethrower stopped in 2012, and then so me and the rest of the guys from Soundbringer, we wanted to play something other than metal, but it ended up eventually, we ended up having a new band called Batistuta. That was, it was really heavy. We didn't call it metal, but it was metal in a way. And it was really cool, because that's when I started, maybe with slow. We can say we played something like stoner with some doom elements and heavy metal elements. And in this band, I was only playing guitar. And we recorded only one album, Nuclear Blues.
I like that name.
And that was it. Yeah. Yeah, actually, this was, let's say, our style of music. When somebody asked us, what do you play? We said Nuclear Blues. And we had lyrics in Croatian, and it was really, really good experience, but it didn't last, because the five of us, everybody had really strong and really different opinions about how we should sound like, and we eventually didn't get along. So these creative tensions that were beneficial for us in the beginning, it kind of, ended the band in, 2017, 2018. Then we reunited with Flamethrower in 2018, and we recorded a live album. And yeah, so that's when I started composing stuff for Elusive God. And yeah, Elusive God started 2018, 2019. Then we had the EP, first EP, The Darkest Flame in 2020. And yeah, so here we are,
Yeah,
live album and two albums later.
that's quite
So
the.
that's in short. I also have to mention one more thing. Last year, I started my own one-man band project. It's called Zlotvor, and I released two EPs so far, one and two. And just a few days ago, compilation of these two EPs was released on the cassette. So yeah, I'm a bit. I was busy always, practically, with a lot of music was played, a lot of music was made. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. You're a musician through and through. I mean, just the in the short amount of time. I mean, because from 2001, I mean, you were like you mentioned, you were 14 years old and in the studio, cutting albums at a
Mhm.
very young age. So that tells me that you're probably a musician even before that. I mean, like, uh, when did you decide to pick up guitar?
I think it was really, I was 7 or 8 years old.
That's wild.
I think. I mean, then I started playing acoustic guitar, but it wasn't serious up until I bought electric guitar. That everything I was doing before that was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I mean, I was really musical up until even from the small age, because there was always music everywhere, and I liked listening to music. I had a lot of cassettes. My dad had vinyls, and there was always music somewhere. So basically, my whole life is connected to music and the guitar.
What kind of vinyls were you favoring whenever Dad was playing music for you?
Uh, Deep Purple, I'd say, because that's a funny story actually. Because when I was little, I I really liked Kelly Family, really, really non-metal band, but okay. And I actually went to see them in concert when they played in Zagreb. It was 97, 98, I think. And then when I returned, my dad decided to intervene because he didn't like the way I was going.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then he went to the attic and he brought his record player and his records from the 70s. And he was like, "Okay, son, I don't want to impose anything. You can listen to whatever you want, but okay, you went to see Kelly Family, but you should know that there's a whole different music, that you are about to discover right now." And then he installed the turntable, and then he played Deep Purple Speed King. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Fuck Kelly Family and fuck everything. What is this? And this is when I decided, okay, maybe I should go for it with the heavy music. And yeah, Deep Purple was my favorite. And what else did he have? He had a lot of Creedence Clearwater Revival records. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as Deep Purple. Deep Purple was insane when I heard it the first time.
Which album he turned you on to as far as Deep Purple's concerned?
I think uh, he had some best of.
Okay.
Yeah, it was some best of record, but later on, I think it was in rock. In rock and Machine Head, I would say. I don't remember. I would have to check it because right now I have all this their vinyls from the 70s. But I think the one he played was the very best of Deep Purple. There's a cover with Fender Strat.
Okay. All right. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
my internet is being really unstable right now for some reason. Not sure why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we were talking about how Machine Head and the the best of Deep Purple really, grabbed your attention at a very young age. And
Yeah.
and like so from there you kind of just went, more, I guess, harder, probably even more extreme as far as.
No,
Oh, okay.
actually, I had like I really liked this Croatian punk bands, and I listened to a lot of because Croatia in the 90s had really, really good rock scene. So I really liked bands like Majke, Hladno Pivo, Kud Idioti. I mean, Hladno Pivo and Kud Idioti are a legendary punk band from Croatia. And I really liked Zabranjeno Pušenje. So these are all okay. Zabranjeno Pušenje is from Bosnia, but these were local bands. And I think what got me into more extreme stuff was when I got Slayer's Undisputed Attitude cassette. This was I think this was the very first time I heard metal band, but I didn't know it at the time. It's not metal, so I thought, yeah, it's something heavy. And yeah, so Slayer is. Then I heard Slayer. Then I think it was Metallica, and then Iron Maiden. But then I went straight into black metal stuff. So I kind of have the reverse way. I started with more extreme stuff, and then eventually got back to heavy metal.
That's crazy. And how old were you during all this time?
Through Slayer, when I heard Undisputed Attitude, I think I was 11. Yeah, I started with when I was 11. Then we had some heavy metal cassettes when I was 12 or 13. And yeah, when I was 13, I was really into black metal. And then I got back to heavy metal really, really soon when I was 14 or 15. But right now, later on, I kind of integrate. I like all these traditional styles of metal, but on the start, it was first hard rock, then let's say punk and the rock phase, then straight to extreme metal, and then okay, let's go back to basics and start listening to some heavy metal.
Yeah, that's and which heavy metal bands were you into? Like
Uh,
during the time,
what,
like whenever
mhm.
I'd say, what was inspiring you whenever during your time with Flamethrower?
uh, Iron Maiden, Wasp, Manowar. Oof, these are like probably my three favorite heavy metal bands. Judas Priest, and yeah, there was some Merciful Fate here and there. This was inspiring for Flamethrower. Yeah.
What I what I what I really appreciate, like in these recent times, we talked about how I went to Oslo and checked out,
Hmm.
like there's like this new, or maybe in a recent 5 6 years maybe, or like there's a lot of younger like millennial bands like just like taking their influences and like doing something completely new but yet traditional heavy metal,
Hmm.
and these days, and I'm all for it. So yeah, it's really refreshing, because there's so many bands, and I feel like there's a lot of acts out there that don't get the credit that they deserve. And
Hmm.
Elusive God, as is it falls in that category as well. Uh, but like doing something that's kind of going against the grain of just being like people are just being extreme for the sake of being extreme.
Hmm.
But you could have some really good product, some really good music and art out there with, just doing something really traditional like heavy metal. And so I find that as of lately, like just really fucking inspiring.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, also, I like when somebody, for me, if you ask me, I don't see how someone can make a good metal music if it's not if it is not inspired by these, let's say, metal bands. So you need to listen to some good metal if you want to make good metal.
Exactly.
And I'm all for it. Is if somebody is inspired by these classic metal bands, uh, I'm really thrilled about it because I think you can still be you can still have innovation in metal, but you have to go back to basics. Maybe even before new wave of traditional heavy metal, you can go even back to 70s because that's where it all started. So if you take these bands as an influence and try to make something right now in 2025, the results will be probably, really good. But if you're inspired with some shit, from 2015, I seriously don't see it happening that you can be original or authentic, because this is really derivative, something that was modern or something that is modern now. This is, really derivative of a lot of styles that were played during the years. But if you go back to basics, then and you revisit it and try to make it on your own, yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance of being, special, if not original.
Yeah, I'm totally on board what you just said there, because in one of the most recent guests, Paul Riedel of a Blood Incantation. I mean, he said it too.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell which bands are listening to like really good music, and
Mm-hmm.
and putting their own spin on whatever they're listening to in their own work. You could tell real quick what's shit and what's really good out there, just by what they're listening to.
Yeah, it would be actually a fun experiment to see, if the band mentions their influences, what they are listening to, and you can maybe guess it if you will like it, whether it's good or not. But yeah, I agree with Blood. I listened to the latest Blood Incantation, and this is wild.
Yeah.
You can see that they delved deep into 70s, and that's where it all started. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, same here. Such an incredible spin on everything that they do and what they've heard over the years past, and they rightfully, they got their own presence, their own fanfare, and so it's no wonder. But anyway, I'm really curious about like what goes into your creative process with Elusive God.
Mhm. It depends. So I mean, the process was different in a way with the latest album, because for the previous albums, I was writing music and lyrics, simultaneously, or I first wrote music and then started to think about the vocals. But with Ambis, I had the lyrics first. So I had the lyrics in Croatian first, and the lyrics kind of dictated the atmosphere and everything about the albums, because the music was built around the lyrics. So it was a slightly different process.
So tell me about the name Elusive God. Like when I mean
Hmm.
it sounds, something rather personal, and it doesn't sound anything that you just saw a couple words and was like, oh shit, yeah, that'll be good. So
Uh,
I'm sure there's more meaning and more depth and weight to that name than than what I could
uh,
see.
the thing is, as whatever I do, this includes the band name also. So I'm kind of, when we made the band, the name had a little bit different meaning than it has now to me. But basically, it's like, you know, from my perspective, it's a cult name, because if you ask me, so it's both a cult and it's like a critic of whoever claims that he knows anything about God, or let's say spirituality, and it's a critic of organized religion. Because if you are deep into organized religion, you outsourced your spirituality to someone else, and somebody else makes up your thoughts and ways about something that should be really personal,
Right.
like your connection with God. Also, it could be, you can look at it from the Gnostic point of view, let's say. But for me, it's like, this is it reflects like a spiritual journey. It's not elusive God. I don't mean it by like a Christian God. It's like something that it's like a spiritual journey, and you will be on this journey for probably your entire life. Also, sometimes I can see, okay, the elusive God, we can say this is Lucifer. I can go into it varies the meaning, because yeah, these are like two words that were not like coincidentally combined, but you know it has various meanings to me, I would say. So like I said, it could be a critic of the organized religion. I could also be go full blasphemy. It's Lucifer, elusive God is either Lucifer or Satan, or it's like this. It reflects spiritual journey because you won't probably, if you want to get to know God or whatever this word means to you, it will probably, this is a journey and you will not probably never will get there, because everything, we can go into this topic, that everything is connected, and that you cannot probably with your mortal, let's say, sensors, you cannot grasp what the God is. So it's really, it's sometimes hard to put it in words, because you said it's personal. It's like it was a thought, it's elusive God, and that's what it is. And sometimes, it's hard to describe it in words, but I think I covered more or less the basic concepts.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm just really curious, where are you at, as spiritually speaking? I mean, obviously you're a very well read, very intelligent person that I mean
Thanks.
that can go from chemical engineering to psychotherapy,
Mhm.
and and most musicians I know are just very you're we're not the dumbest people, that's for sure. So I'm just really curious. I'm really curious on your take, of your own personal views on spirituality, and because it's something that really fascinates me.
As I said, it kind of develops over time and it changes. So I have to say, okay, we can go back to the first question. How was it? What was it like to grow up in Croatia? Croatia is traditionally a Christian country, and I was, born and raised in a Catholic way, but not so strictly Catholic way. It was like practical Catholic way. And when I hit puberty, I started to dislike it, and I had this, you had this adolescent rebellion. But I left church and everything related to church when I was 14 years old because I didn't like it. But right now, I would say I could call myself like a spiritual freelancer, because I I like to study and read about a lot of concepts, and then I kind of make it, everything on my own. So, for example, I like really the principles of Luciferianism. Also, I like Thelema from Aleister Crowley. Then I like some, let's say, Gnostic views, because like this esoteric and occult Christianity, it really fascinates me, and how much we don't know about it. But basically, I would say I'm more drawn to this, how do you say, left hand path stuff and the occult. But I also I'm critical about it, so I don't take things lightly. And I kind of, developed, so I could say that my beliefs are, they change over time, but they are like a compilation of everything I just mentioned. So I don't have like a definite spiritual practice,
Yeah,
you know,
I,
but I'm fascinated by it, and I'm definitely, I wouldn't call myself an atheist, but practically I'm an atheist because I don't perform any rituals and are not part of any organized religion or sect. But I do a lot of contemplating on my own. It's for me also just music and the process of creation. This is a really, really, really spiritual process for me.
yeah. And as far as the spiritual process, on your daily living, I'm just really curious. Like, do you practice any kind of forms of meditation, or like bring anything to, like, you mentioned you spiritual freelancer, and I'm just really fascinated by that. I like the term. It's
Mhm.
probably one of the first times I've ever heard of someone considering
It's
themselves.
the first time I actually said it. I know it just came to my mind.
Hey
Okay.
man, you're a walking, talking poet. I love it, and
Mhm.
and maybe even a little bit of a philosopher as well. Uh, but I'm really just curious about you as a person, and like things that we talked about. It's like, do you
Hmm.
ever bring things into like your own like prayer or uh meditation? Like, do you practice anything like that?
I don't pray.
Okay.
I stopped praying when I was, I think, 8 years old. I don't like the concept of praying, but I've been practicing yoga for 7 or 8 years. So there's a lot. And yeah, I'm used to meditate a lot in the past, but right now, nowadays I do it only occasionally. So yeah, I mean, going to yoga, I never saw it. So it is a spiritual practice, but I think the most spiritual thing I'm doing, I spend a lot of time alone in the woods. And this is where I kind of feel this connectedness to myself and everything around me in the universe. Because this is like I need to spend at least 1 or 2 days for 1 or 2 hours a week all alone in the woods, because this is how I recharge my batteries. So I would say this is the closest thing to some spiritual practice I'm conducting. Yeah. And you have this some I would consider myself, like I'm generally really open to the some various experiences. You can have this some sort of spiritual experiences, when you listen to some kind of music, but when you need to be in a really really specific mood. So for me, sometimes when I compose or just play guitar, you just go somewhere else on some other dimension, and then when you go back, then you're like, well, what the fuck, man, this was really, where did I go? This was really spiritual. So this is it's not like maybe some usual practice, something you could read. I kind of made up my own thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, practicing yoga, meditation, pranayama also, this is really powerful stuff. And spending in nature a lot of alone time.
Yeah. I could definitely relate to you.
Hmm.
I know, I'm about due for just to go hike, get lost in the woods, and like you said,
Hmm.
just recharge my batteries because I could easily just from the day-to-day life of working and just
Hmm.
and just living, just in a modern day society that we have where it's just filled with so much fucking outside noise. It
Yeah.
it is a drain. So I'm all about taking a hike, literally in the woods, getting just surrounding myself with nature, and
Hmm.
and just allowing whatever I'm feeling just to I can tune it all out, because I'm just there living,
Yeah,
just living there in the present, and just not having to worry about
exactly.
making deadlines or anything, just just
Mhm.
just truly being.
Yeah, yeah, I like what you said. Just truly, truly being, and also, I have to say I owe a lot of my musical ideas to being in the woods, because I'm the kind of person, if you leave me all alone walking, I will start hearing some riffs or music in my head, and then I will eventually make it into a song. So it's yeah, this is, but you can feel it. It's when you're on your own, just being. It's something you're like in a different mode of existing than, let's say, you're right now in your living room.
Right.
So, and I like it. So for me, this was I don't know if it's spiritual or mystical, but for me, I think it is. Also, music can really lift you and catapult you into some completely different dimension.
Oh, I totally agree. I remember when I got my guitar from my buddy Nick in Utah, and I just sat there.
Hmm.
I just sat down with this work of art that he built for me, and I was hooked up into his Marshall stack, and I just started playing it for the first time, and I had no idea what I was playing. I had no idea. I just know I would,
Hmm.
like, in he was recording me with his phone, and he was like, dude, you were fucking locked in. I was like, bruh, like, I have no clue what I was doing. I just know that
Hmm.
I was in the zone, like people say, you know, uh
Yeah.
and I'm glad you know he was able to capture that with his camera because I don't know what that ever looks like. You know, you know I do a little bit of a recording here and there, but man, it was just uh it felt completely spiritual, like you know what we were talking about, you know, just being
Hmm.
your own music and your instrument. So that could definitely help anyone who might be finding themselves, you know, with some troubled times. I guess. I mean, music is definitely you know being creative and being artistic and even
Hmm.
even go and get lost in the woods, man. It opens up a whole nother avenue for your own spirituality, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, also, maybe I got it the wrong way, but when you are listening about somebody being spiritual, let's say, everybody thinks that this needs to be okay. You need to have like your meditation, prayer, or some kind of fancy routine, but it's not
No,
about that. You
no, no.
can be spiritual if you want in your living room, in your pajama if you want it. So it's not like that. It's really about, if you can be disconnected from this reality and go somewhere else, I would say. Yeah.
I'm I'm having a great time talking to you about this, and
Yeah.
I'm really
I also have a great time.
really curious about you know your own personal views about you know because we talked about how society like lately. I mean, it puts there's so much stressors on people
Hmm.
and coming out from every direction, man. And like, what are some things? What are some practical things that you do besides you know your art that
Hmm.
that helps you whenever you feeling you know whether it's like a hard day at school or like the day job is getting to you like
Hmm.
what is something that you put in practical application to like just get yourself centered whenever the I guess the option of playing music or yoga and a forest is not there for you.
Hmm. It's a good question because, okay, I have to say it was a process because, me from, let's say, 5 years ago, I totally dealt with everyday life really differently because right now, maybe I'm more in line with myself and more calm, but this is okay thanks to being, you know, thanks to growing up, and the therapy kind of pays off, because I'm much more calm. But I don't know, I don't have any practical stuff I do because everything we are talking about, so creativity, uh, you know, obviously guitar and music, being in the woods, this is a part of my routine. So I don't need to make time for it. I just do it regularly. And also healthy diet, exercising. So if you ask I could say I lead a pretty boring life. My week will always, look more or less the same. I know I will go to the woods 2 times. I know I will go to yoga. I know I will eat healthy. I know I will spend a lot of time with my girlfriend and with music. And these are kind of things, this healthy, let's say, habits and structure that keeps me in line. But okay, if something happens, I would say for me, the best go-to option is to take a walk. Just go, remove yourself from the room, from the computer, and from whatever is stressing you out. Because when I walk let's say 20 or 30 minutes, it calms me down.
Yeah.
Because you removed yourself from the stressor, you kind of went to the different surroundings. And yeah, you can also, if incorporate some breathing exercises, you should be fine. But yeah, it's difficult, with the work, the deadlines, and everything. I mean, the whole life is really fast paced. Fast paced. Everything needs to be quick and done, immediately. So it's hard, but I would say it's a constant work.
Yeah.
You're never done with it. You can just be incrementally better little by little, but you can never say, okay, I'm done. I own my shit. No,
No,
you're probably not, but you can deal with your shit better than you used to like 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's a ton of people, that like to consider themselves, they have their shit totally together. And
Mm,
I don't think anyone does. I mean, if they are, then they're probably, like maybe the Jeff Bezos, and like whoever has like, the fucking Bill Gates or whoever the fuck, all the billionaires in the world where, like money can allow them to live a certain lifestyle, and
hmm
and everything is taken care of, but like for the rest of us, people out here, we got to do some shit. We got, like you said, we got to eat right. We got to keep the stressors at bay. We got to do things, in order to be the best human possible that we can be to others. And so
hmm
I really appreciate the conversation that we're having about that, man. And and I don't think we talked about too much music, but
Never mind.
sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, well, as we said, it's all connected. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely all connected. But uh switching to music though, with
Mm.
what did you find was the most rewarding thing for you with Elusive God?
Hmm. Couple of things. The latest thing was, the whole recording experience of Ambis album. So we went to Czechia, Czech Republic, to Hell Sound Studio. I mean, our drummer is from Czechia, Honza Kapak, and he has the studio. And we went there for a couple of days to record it. And this whole experience, whole band together recording it, it was really, I don't know how to say it, magical. And the outcome of the album, I'm really happy how it turned out. Second thing was our show uh, in on Doom Over Vienna Festival. So this is, I don't know, this festival goes for at least 15 years. I think we played on 15th or 17th edition. I don't know exactly. Uh, and this is it's a Doom festival for underground Doom bands held in a club where it fits only 150 people. And this was our second show with Elusive God. I mean, we didn't play a lot of shows to begin with. We play on rare occasions. Uh, so we went there, didn't know what to expect, and then we ended up by playing the show for 150 people that knew our songs, knew the lyrics, and the atmosphere was like insane. I couldn't believe it. Like you are playing for the full club and everybody knows the music. And, I mean, people traveled from all around the world to this festival, from Chile, from Malta. It was brilliant. Also, when we recorded our live album, Doom Over Bohemia, it was our first show ever. And it was so spectacular. We recorded it and then we decided we need to release it as a live album because it sounded fantastic and the vibe was really good. And also I liked how our videos turned out, especially Dream Within a Dream, because this was completely DIY. Our friend, and I call him art director, Bojan Kostic. Basically, we did the video ourselves. We didn't have actors, we didn't have anything, and it was really it was really good experience recording it. I suggest you to watch the video because it took us a while to make it, but it turned out great. But the whole process of making the video was good. Generally, everything related to Elusive God, it's been really good. The whole process, the crowd, the people, in the band and around the band, we are really good, and everybody likes what he is doing and everybody wants to do it. So the whole process and everything is really, really nice.
Yeah, and everything that you had sent me, I mean, it's you told me it was DIY, but it looks, as professional as it gets. I really
I
love this art direction was really, it's unique, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the music as well, and So I'm glad we're able to get this done finally.
Mm. I mean, it was, I say DIY because, it was basically Boy on me and our friend who was an actress in the video. So there was no, like, we didn't have a crew or any special effects. For Ples Demona video, that's when it was more professional. Then there was an actor, a whole crew, and everything. So it was a different thing. But Dream Within a Dream was, yeah, compared to the, let's say Ples Demona, it was really DIY effort. As it was with the first video we did, Silence is Our Doom.
Whenever it comes to the actual the music of Elusive God, like were there any particular doom bands um, that inspired your guitar tone and was there an actual type of sound that you were kind of not really trying to replicate, but something that you wanted to you kind of like took an idea from as far as tone and said, you know what, I want to do this and I'll make it my own.
Mm, never, I actually never thought about it. Uh, because I knew I didn't want to have this too, what's the right term? I mean, I like, let's say, how Candlemass guitar sounds,
Yeah,
and I like how Black Sabbath guitar sound, or let's say High on Fire Sleep. I like these sounds, but it's not for me.
yeah.
So I kind of uh, elevated and modified my sound that I had, which is basically for the last 12 or 13 years, it's Gibson SG connected to Marshall JVM, and it has specific character, which I like really much. And the only thing I modified for playing doom metal, obviously a little bit more gain. And I was playing, on the higher frets, these fat strings, and some of the songs are in drop tuning, some of them are not. But the style of playing, kind of modified the sound. And basically, I didn't have any, I didn't want to, I was certainly influenced by some particular guitar tones, but not from doom metal bands. I had like my own tone, which came from playing heavy metal over the years, and also what we did in Batistuta kind of influenced me, and I just took it from there. So I cannot pinpoint some doom metal tone that I was particularly inspired by. I like many doom metal tones, but it didn't came to me as an inspiration for Elusive God.
What are you listening to these days? Like, what's helping you? Do you refer back to the classics, or there's some new upcoming bands that you heard on whatever streaming service you listen to, I suppose.
So okay, let's for last mm, I've been listening to a lot of Monster Magnet for the last few months.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. Also Atomic Beachwax because they play live for the second time in Croatia, and it's insane how these guys are good playing live. Also, I've been listening to, yeah, this is the band I discovered recently, Slovakian band called Chad. So how to describe it? It's like thrash metal, intertwined with punk, but with some growled vocals, let's say. And these guys are good. The drummer is fantastic. The riffs are fantastic. The vocals are insane. Actually, I can understand on my own like 30% of stuff they are singing because the languages they are not so similar, but they are Slavic languages. And the band is totally, totally insane. And last couple of days, I was listening to Czech black metal band Inferno, and I also went to see them live. They were playing in Zagreb on Saturday, and this was totally otherworldly experience. I don't know how to describe it. So that's and yeah, I've been listening. Latest thing I listened to on vinyl was Slayer, Raining Blood. I always return to this one. What else? I mean, I revisit the classics, very often. Last month, I went to Athens to see Candlemass with Messiah Marcolin, actually.
Oh
And
wow.
then I was listening to a lot of Candlemass, these days. So yeah, that's basically it.
So I'm curious, man, about the black metal scene where you're from.
Mhm.
How is, I mean, are there a lot of bands, a lot of artists locally, playing black metal in Zagreb by any chance?
Mm, particularly black metal. Okay. Yes and no. I mean, there are probably the thing is if you go to metal archives, you'll see probably a lot of bands, but these are mostly one man bands from somebody's living room, and I don't know about these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
The band I know about from Croatia, from Zagreb, is Frozen Forest, and yes, they are celebrating their 20th anniversary next week. They have a show here in Zagreb. Yeah, and the Elusive God bass player will fill in for the bass duties on this concert, so that this is like an exclusive info for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's Frozen Forest, and then I have to think about, because there are a lot of actually death metal bands right now in Croatia. I have to think about black metal bands. Probably if somebody will watch this, I will end up being an asshole because I cannot fucking remember nothing except Frozen Forest.
I
Yeah,
I
right
actually
now. Oh,
I actually
there's hmm?
I was gonna say I actually have a really good friend of mine from Croatia. Uh,
Hmm.
you might know him. His name is Vladimir. Let me get his last name because I owe
Vladimir, okay.
Vladimir Kokorio. I
Chocorilo.
Yeah, yes, yes. There you go.
I
Um,
yeah, I heard this name somewhere.
he
Does he this guy has some sort of metal online fanzine, right?
Yes, that's him. That's the same guy.
Yeah, and
He
he interviewed Frozen Forest actually, as we are speaking about them. Yeah,
Whenever
I
you
heard. I don't know this. I don't know the guy, but I heard about him. I think, yeah, you can see his name somewhere.
he's a goddamn
But I don't know the guy personally. Also, there's a band from Croatia playing black metal. It's called Cities from Zagreb. Yeah, I know about them, and hey, you caught me off guard here. We need to think about Croatian black metal bands. Yeah, actually, okay, let's switch gears. I know maybe some old bands, like Castrum, Unholy Inquisition, Gortaros Rod, but this is Black Cult. Basically anything that Mr. Insanus,
Yeah, yeah,
produces. You heard about the guy.
yeah.
Okay, but the band, they are not Croatian band. They are band from Serbia, The Stone. You heard about The Stone? They are one of my favorite black metal bands.
Oh, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna refer back to that. I'm gonna check them out. That's for sure.
Yeah, you need to check. I mean, they are almost. I think they will soon celebrate probably 30 years of existence. So yeah, they were formed
Wow.
in 95 or 96, I think. Yeah, I have some homework to do. I don't I have to remember some of the black metal stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, you and
I'm kind of out of the loop, with the because there are so many concerts, so many bands. You at some point you stop paying attention, and then you can remember the bands you listened to 20 years ago. Like I said, Unholy Inquisition, Castrum, Ghost Stars, what? But I don't know something happening right now on black metal scene.
I totally get it, man. Is there anything before we head out? Oh, I didn't ask you this, man. What are your six favorite albums that you cannot live without? I mean, Desert
Six
Island.
favorite albums.
Yeah, it could be any genre, not just metal.
Okay, I will take the easy route because I recently recorded a video for Metal Crypt where they asked me four favorite albums. So I will take these four and then I'll add another two. So for me, Wasp, Headless Children,
Oh, that's a great one.
Slayer, Raining Blood, Death, Sound of Perseverance, Candlemas live album from 1990, and then we need another two. I would say Mayhem de Mysteris Dom Satanas.
That's just such a
This is
good album.
this is I have to listen to this album regularly because this is insane. And the sixth one, hmm, let me think about that. Just maybe I can be inspired with some of the stuff I have here because hmm, sixth one. Let's go Manowar.
Manowar.
And let's go with Manowar and Hail to England, I'd say. But this is the pick for this week. If you ask me next week, I will probably have six different albums. Yeah, I really like Manowar. I really
Yeah.
like them. And yeah, Hail to England, either Hail to England or Sign of the Hammer, but it depends on the mood. Sometimes I could go with battle hymns as well. But first four Manowar albums are this is premium heavy metal.
Yeah. I've been that's a solid six right there. I mean, I love asking the question to everyone who comes on, obviously, because I mean it just I noticed six albums will change, but like there are some that are just, you know, absolute go-tos. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, there's like three albums I could think about that's always I could
Which one?
I always go Panzerfaust by Dark Throne, uh
Okay.
Volume 4 for Black Sabbath,
Okay.
and it's a real toss up right now between ISIS's Oceanic uh
Mm-hmm.
or God, like I really love the Melvins. So
Mm-hmm.
like the Melvins is Houdini is so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
I it like you said, it always fluctuates. It's but those three are kind of like those four rather. It's like they're always there, and I could just always find something uh inspiring to come up with a really good riff or something like that.
Yeah. Since you mentioned Melvins, I think they played in Zagreb mm, 10 years ago, maybe. They had a show with two drummers. This
Yeah,
this was like
yeah,
nothing you can see regularly, and
yeah,
they kind of they played for an hour and 15. They didn't even say nothing, no hello, nothing between the songs. They played the set and then they said thank you, we are Melvins, bye, and everybody knew there's no encore, the show is over, and went outside.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's I saw the same set in New
Mm-hmm.
Orleans. They had basically it was the drummer from Big Business and Dale Crover together,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, just a fucking like a monolith of a fucking show. It was just so great. I mean, it was
Yeah.
so goddamn heavy. It just hit you right in your fucking face and your gut. I mean, it was a total immersive experience of like just only music the way Melvins could bring it to you, man. And uh, I was
Yeah,
so fortunate to see
I
that.
agree. Yeah.
Well, Tom,
Yeah.
is there anything that you want to promote before we head out, my man?
Okay, yeah, I could promote, yeah, so our latest album, Abyss, doom metal with a twist, I would say, in with lyrics in Croatian. I encourage everybody to, give it a chance. There's some decent metal on
Absolutely.
this album. And yeah, keep your eye on Elusive, keep your eyes and ears on Elusive God. We'll have some new releases pretty soon. I don't want to announce anything because I don't want to get a hold of myself, but we are preparing something in the near future. Yes, and we'll probably hit studio early next year. We have a lot of new material to record. So basically, check out the Elusive God, hit us up on Gmail or wherever, tell us what you like or don't like about us. And yeah, check out the other also Croatian bands. There's a small but really good scene, a lot of bands which I didn't manage to come up with right now, considering black metal only, but there's a lot of good bands here. But start with Elusive God and then go expand your quest, I would say.
Absolutely. Start with Elusive God, then expand your quest. Go to side quests later. Check out Elusive God. You won't be disappointed. Anyone who's into just straight up fucking heavy doom metal, just go all in. You won't be disappointed. Promise you. Tomislav, thank you so much, my man. Thank you for being flexible with me on my busy schedule.
No problem.
We had a fucking I had a fantastic time talking to you, and
I did also. It was really good.